why did Node come about? First of all, we created a telecommunications business in Manchester by accident, bunch of software engineers, and we thought, wow, this market is just it's so monopolistic. The customer service level is so poor, and we just took this view of like, what do we think about internet? And we come across the fact that most buildings were built before the internet, so connectivity was an afterthought. And I don't know if you've experienced the internet going off, but it's so important in today's business. And obviously, I don't need to tell you, it's incredibly important in terms of occupiers, in terms of where they choose to be. You've got the rise of wired score as a connectivity certificate now. And we just believe fundamentally that the internet is the modern day equivalent of tap water. So we've been asking ourselves, how do we change the global telecommunications market to make sure you don't have to think about internet? So similar to when you turned on the tap at some point in the last week, I'd hope, you didn't think about the provider. Around the world, infrastructure is being changed. Fiber is the future because you can put the speed of light through it. So from a physics perspective, it's a future-proof solution. And our goal is to create hassle-free connectivity. So we want to take away the pain from landlords and occupiers away from the telecommunications space, remove the legal headache that typically comes with these monopolies that just want to own the customer for perpetuity. And we want to also give you a great return of investment on that infrastructure. If you're building buildings, refurbishing buildings today, the communication rooms are typically an afterthought. And then once the building's up and running, they're not properly managed. It's an asset that we want to get the most use out of. And ultimately, we want tenants to be happy. So we introduced Node last year. It's a hardware and software solution. We work with the landlords during the construction phase, and we professionally manage the comms rooms. We put blown fiber to every floor. Each building's got a riser, and we look after that, and we have a plug-and-play interface. So when another telco provider turns up, it's a quick job. They don't cause disruption to the tenants. It's very, very simple, pain-free. Saves time on construction, saves construction time, which obviously cost. And here's a small example, like the idea that we were initially trying to create. So on the left-hand side, you have a bunch of telecommunications businesses. Telecom's the best one, obviously, because that's what Node spun out of. And on the right-hand side, the tenants. And the tenants are going on a software platform and effectively getting up to 24 different providers competing for your business. That translates to a better cost, better contract length, faster speeds, and gives you power in the marketplace. Our prototype was a small 350,000 square foot building in Manchester's business district. It gave us a few sleepless nights as a first building to do. It was originally owned by Allied London, and they've sold it to Schroders. And that has tenants like WeWork and PwC. If you're big into wide score, we put nodes in Manchester and another northern city called Leeds. We got the first platinum wide scores in those cities. And here's a few examples that we're currently doing. This example is for partnership. They're a fund in London. They now want us to do all their buildings. So they've given us buildings in London, in Glasgow. This one here is in Manchester. And they've asked us to do all their properties now, wherever they have them. So we're holding back from moving abroad at the moment because they're asking us to do properties in London, France and Germany. But I'll get onto that in a second. Here's a few other examples currently that are just about to come live. And our biggest customers at the moment are Legal & General and Aviva. We're doing trials from Aberdeen to London, so the whole breadth of the UK. Hopefully the testimonials is what stands up for themselves. And we're just trying to take a really old industry and remove all the headaches from it. The thing I want to really get to, though, is like connectivity is our first part of the solution. So you put Node in the building, done. Don't have to think about connectivity. Your building gets the highest level of connectivity. What we're really focused on then is what you can do with that. And our fundamental belief is that security is not being discussed globally when it comes to prop tech and to do with developers. In fact, IoT strategies are still in their early days with some developers. So we've got a secure solution that we're trialing at the moment with some of our customers, where effectively we're protecting the data security of buildings. We think that most buildings around the world definitely haven't thought about connectivity. So then they've absolutely not thought about data security. So we're working with ethical hackers. At the moment, we're NDA'd, so we can't talk about the buildings that we're working on in terms of our secure solutions. But what I would say to you is that cyber is only going to increase, and I'd really love to talk to you in person about what we're actually doing there, because I think connectivity is great, and we're chuffed to bits that we're solving connectivity for a building, but we think our future is more important when it comes to data security. Why I'm here, this year we've got interest now in America and Europe. We're going to pick one territory to go. We're looking for a really big asset manager to partner with, because we're not welcomed by the telecommunications space, as you can imagine, because we think the price of internet is inflated, customer service is poor, and hopefully with the right partner, we'll be able to change the telco industry, and you won't have to worry about connectivity or data security. Thank you very much.